Hey there. Thanks for showing up. I wanted to share a story with you that came to mind this morning, a reminder of circumstances and instance that happened to me years ago. I hadn't thought about it in a long time. Here lately, I've been, let's just say, I've had plenty of opportunities to really trust in God, the universe, to provide and come through in a lot of ways. And um, feeling just so much feeling pressure trying to come in and really deal with stress and anxiety and just a lot of fear really trying to come on, really trying to make its way in and wreak havoc on my mind and my nervous system, my body. And for the most part, man, I've been doing amazing. Um, but things are really ratcheting up on outward appearances, looking grim, scary, terrifying. And so, again, plenty of opportunities to find my peace and stay connected with that. Um, but I was reminded of something years ago that is an amazing um, example of how God came through for me in my life. I was in my early 20s and I was poor, but I was working a job, wasn't making much money, and the car I was driving broke down, and I did not have the money to fix the car. And so I was without a vehicle, but I had a job I needed to get to and from work. And I had this friend of mine, his name's Corey, and Corey and I weren't really that close. We hung out sometimes. We would go out, um, kind of hang out at a club or even at his place, just like drinking and hanging out and with some other buddies of his and stuff. So it was just occasional that Corey and I would hang out. But when my car broke down, I told him about it at some point, and he offered to come pick me up in the morning and take me to work. That he lived about 5 minutes away from me. That he could come and pick me up and take me to work, and he could even come back after work, pick me up, and bring me home. And I was in no position to say no, as much as I did not want to put somebody in that kind of spot where they had to do that for me, but I had to accept. And so I did. And so every day, Corey would drive 5 minutes the other direction from where he needed to go and pick me up. And he would drive me 15 minutes to my place of work and drop me off. And then at the end of the day, he would come and pick me up and then bring me back home. So every day, 5 days a week, for it probably took a total of between 45 minutes to an hour out of his day to do that. And he did that for me for an entire month. He did that. And he did it with such like joy. Like it was like he really enjoyed getting to do this and have this conversational time with us that we would have in the car. I mean, it was amazing. Every day for a month, Corey would do this for me, pick up, drop off, never a hint of any negativity. In fact, the opposite, seemed to enjoy doing it. And man, it was so, it's been so moving having that really positive, powerful memory inside of me for, I mean, it's been 3 decades now that that happened. And I haven't talked to Corey in almost as long. I mean, wasn't long after that um, we just I don't know we quit hanging out or whatever. Like I said before that, we weren't really hanging out much before, and so I haven't had any contact with him. I tried looking him up on Facebook and didn't find him. And I wouldn't know how to track him down. But regardless, I've got this tremendous memory of this person doing this really selfless deed for me. I had no way to repay him. Um, Truly selfless deed for me that it helped me out so much more than I just I don't think he had any idea then, and probably he may not even remember doing that for me, but I certainly do. And it sticks with me as a couple of things that God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, puts things in your life, and people especially in your life, that really take care of you, that really come through and provide what you need in the moment, especially when it can get really grim, really dark, really scary, really hopeless in some points. And that was one of those where Corey was just an amazing godsend for me. And another aspect of that memory is having this example of somebody showing up in such a profound way of service, an act of service, a continual act of service, um, that serves as an example for me. I've seen what that can look like, and how maybe I can show up like that for others. And I think it's important, if we can, to have these memories, and when they come up, make sure that we sit with those, and we notice when they're here, of when people showed up for us in our lives and how they showed up, and feel the gratitude in that, and feel what that did for us. And maybe if we can remember times that we showed up for others um, in similar ways, because there's so much power in that, being able to have these um, have these connections with one another, and be able to help each other out in so many countless different ways. I've got so many stories of people helping me out over the years, particularly when I was younger, and most of the time there was nothing I could do to repay the person helping me out. They just did it to be that way. And sometimes I think we forget, this is how people really are. People really deeply want to help one another. And we get such a skewed perception of people sometimes, oftentimes on social media, especially in the comment sections, when we're watching the news or seeing the news show up. We get such a distorted version of what we think humanity is like. But actually living out in the real world, and being with people and around people and connected with people, people love showing up and helping one another out. It's part of us. It's part of our makeup. It's part of who we are. It's part of what we do. It's part of why we're here, to have this adventure together, to share this wonderful, beautiful globe, this Gaia, this planet Earth together, and to have these experiences with one another, and be able to have these magical interchanges that can be profound in such a way that the waves of that reverberate for decades afterward. Someday I'll get to thank Corey, I hope, in person, eye to eye, from my heart, how much that meant to me. And until then, I'll have this memory, and I'll have this example of how I can show up like that for others. And I'll have this memory of how God put Corey in my life to help me out in that moment. So I hope you get some memories of people showing up for you. We've all had them at some point. I hope you're able to tap into those. I hope they show up for you. And I hope you're able to show up for others in acts of service, or just being a listening ear, whatever it is, where we can be there for one another, where we can be that change agent in the moment when it's most needed. So I hope you have those moments. I hope you can be that in the moment. And let's do this with one another. Here we go.